Hi there, my name is Steve Gerhardt and welcome to the Unagi Observer. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching today's video. Today is going to be a review of a live action movie called 13 Assassins. Okay, before I get started on this, a couple of important things. Actually, one's a semi-important thing, the other one is a very important thing. So let's start with the semi-important thing first. I am going to have to find a new place with which to do my videos. Reason being is that my neighbors, who are very nice young gentlemen, apparently do not know how to do things without being loud. Shutting doors, making food, watching television, playing games, talking on their phones, even sleeping, I think. So no matter where I go in my apartment, the walls are kind of thin, so I can hear exactly what they're saying and they're doing. So I've tried different areas in the apartment. I think I might have to go back into the bedroom. That might do the trick for a little while. But so as I'm talking, if you hear noises like doors slamming, people talking, stuff like that, it's my neighbors. And I'm just gonna have to find a new place. I'm not sure where that's gonna be, but it's gonna be a new place. Anyway, so the second thing, which is very important, this video is going to be going up in the early mornings of Election Day. So if you are registered to vote and you haven't voted yet, go vote. This is an important election. This is not an election of, I'm not going to do it because I don't feel like there's any difference between the parties or any of that kind of crap. There's definitely a difference of the people who are running. One is going to be better than the other. Quite frankly, that's it. And I'm not going to go into the politics of either candidate, but it's important to know that one is bad, one is better, and you just need to choose one of the two. If you are eligible to vote but you haven't registered, check to see what the laws of your state say, because you could go into a polling place, register to vote, and vote in the same day. The process is a little bit different, and even during normal voting times, it's not always a guarantee that your vote will be counted, but at least you'll be registered. And you can at least say you tried. So go out and vote. Okay, so let's go on to the review of 2010's 13 Assassins. 13 Assassins is your typical samurai movie. It's basically one lone samurai who knows how to fight, or a small group of samurai who actually know how to fight during a time where no samurai apparently knows how to fight, during an era of corruption, and they take on the noble cause against overwhelming odds. So that's basically 13 Assassins. The more detailed point of this is that it takes place in 1844, which is about 25 years before the Edo period, or the Tokugawa shogunate ends. The Edo period is basically, or the Tokugawa period is from 1603 to 1868, where the Tokugawa shogunate pretty much collapses and the Meiji restoration takes place. This story takes place, like I said, 25 years before that happens, and in it, basically, there is a lord named Lord Neretsugu. I think I'm saying that correctly. Neretsugu. And he is the son of a lord who has recently passed away. And he has been brought up to be a spoiled brat. He doesn't really know how to govern. And he basically goes homicidal once he becomes the ruler of his domain. And he starts raping and killing the daughters and wives of his actual vassals, his local lords. And when he's done with that, he starts branching out into other domains and keeps on doing it. And the reason why he gets away with it is because he's the shogun's half-brother. So he gets away with all this stuff, right? So finally, he comes across this one local lord, and he does the same thing, rapes his daughter, rapes his wife, kills them both, and says, "Ha, sucks to be you," and leaves. So the lord basically is trying to call attention to this problem, to the shogunate, to appeal to the shogunate. And he feels that the only way he can do that is through seppuku. So he kills himself, right? And he leaves a letter behind to be sent to the shogun by his retainers, and they send it. And while that letter has been sent, at the same time, Lord Neretsugu learns that he is going to be put on the council, the shogunate council in Edo. So he's going to be a member of the ruling elite. He's going to be able to dictate what happens in Japan. He's 24 years old and he's a homicidal maniac, and they're going to put him in charge of authority over an entire nation. So he leaves to go to Edo as this letter just leaves right before him, and he's on his way to Edo with about 200 of his troops. The letter gets to Edo, it gets to a particular minister who reads it, and he kind of looks down the list of crimes, and he's recognizing the lords and how many, like, what they're, you know, like how many men they have, how many arms, how well trained they are, or if they're trained at all, whatever. And he comes to the realization that if they put Naragetsugu onto the shogunate council, there's going to be a legit civil war, not just like a small rebellion where they just send in the shogunate troops and just smash them into the ground. This is a legit, entire portions of Japan are going to be against the shogunate, and it's going to be a full-out civil war that's going to last years. So he wants to avoid this, but he can't go against the shogun, who's the half-brother of the homicidal maniac and whose crimes he's kind of covering up. He can't really go against the emperor, who's kind of letting this happen, because during this time the emperor really has no power. It's the shogunate that has the power. So if the shogunate says this is okay, the emperor goes, yeah, okay, whatever you say. As long as I'm protected, I can do what I do. And so the minister, obviously, if he says something publicly, he's going to be told to commit suicide, or he's going to be killed, or whatever. So what does he do? He reaches out to an old friend who's a samurai and says, hey, here's the situation. This guy needs to die before he gets to Edo. And there's the movie. So the movie takes place in this group of 12 samurai who are either ronin, who don't have masters, or they are paid to be unemployed. And I'll explain that in a moment. And that's really an important plot point. And he gets 12 of them together, and they say, okay, we're going to force Naragetsugu to go to a particular town where we'll have an ambush, and then we're going to have it out, and hopefully we'll kill him. Keeping in mind that all these samurai know that they're going up against about 200 guys, and they know they're not going to live through this. So, you know, it's not like there's any pretense of, oh yeah, we're going to make it through the end. It won't be nice. No, they all expect to die. Okay, so that's kind of like the final mission. So this one samurai is choosing people that he knows know how to fight, who are disaffected, who want to have that one last true samurai battle so that they can die honorably. And so that's the kind of people that he's gathering around him. He gets 12 of them, and they put their plan into action. The 13th assassin joins them while they are en route to the town where they're going to set up the ambush. The climactic battle scene is amazing. And horrifically, you find in the middle of the battle scene, Lord Naragetsugu, who is going to sit on the council, the homicidal half-brother of the shogun, looks around, sees all this death and destruction whirling around him, and he is loving it. And he goes, this is what samurai should be. So he's actually agreeing with the samurai who are out to kill him, saying that samurai should not be bureaucrats, they should be warriors. But he's also saying, he goes, when I get onto the council, there will always be war. This should always be going on. Yeeks. Right? So there's the movie. I personally like it because it talks about a historical context that they get right for a change. They change a couple of the like they change the date and they change a couple little things here and there, but for the most part they get it right. They take advantage of a Japanese kind of myth that goes on along with Lord Naragetsugu. And but the really cool thing is that they really get the time period right, from the costumes, the buildings, the samurai, the fact that the samurai are nothing more than bureaucrats now. Almost none of them know how to fight, and that's like a big deal because that actually happened towards the end of the Tokugawa shogunate. They purposely made the samurai class not be warriors anymore, so that they can consolidate control and control the samurai class. And that, you know, samurai of that time, 25 years before it the shogunate collapsed, they were complaining about how the only way they know any battles is through stories and tales and things written down from the past. And so it's a lot of disaffected samurai who just want to be samurai. And so some of the men that the guy gets are Ronin, and the others are people who are paid to be unemployed by their masters. So this is what happened in Tokugawa, Japan. The lords, Daimyo, would actually collect samurai and give them a stipend, an annual stipend that they pay out twice per year. And they pay them not to have any other job, and they pay them to sit there and do nothing until they're called for. That's it. That's your jobs. The changes, that the date change in this movie goes from 1835 to 1844. And the reason for this is that the villain, Lord Nargutsugu, is a real person. And he was a jerk in real life. And he was really young. And he was incompetent. And he was corrupt. And he did do bad things. He wasn't the homicidal maniac in the movie, but he did not so great things. He did, rape women. He did, periodically his vassal would come to his castle, and he'd like the daughter and have his way. One of the things that he's known for is in actual history is that when his father died, I think he was 21 years old when he took on the mantle of leadership, and his domain was his lands were not doing well. They weren't very economically viable. Japan itself was undergoing a financial crisis. The price of rice was really high, so it was hard to sell. So when that's the basis of your economy, things kind of suck. So what he did was he did what other lords were doing, which was doing an austerity program, which meant that he himself basically cut his staff in half and fired them so that the people wouldn't have to pay that much for his staff. And the idea was to gain enough money to sort of reinvest and reinvigorate the local economy. Well, what the real Lord Nargutsugu did was, instead of reinvigorating the local economy, he took the money for himself, and he bought whores. He bought lavish items. He built castles and things like that for his own personal amusement. And to top it all off, when he realized that he just about ran his domain into the ground, he actually petitioned the shogun, who was related to him by marriage. He wasn't a half-brother, but related by marriage, and said, hey, do me a solid. And the province next door is doing pretty well. They're fine. Their leader is pretty good. Why don't you bring that leader over to my province, and I'll take over that province, so that way, everybody's a win-win. And of course, the shogun just kind of looked at him and said, no, we're not doing that. So the guy was left in a crumbling infrastructure, very corrupt, whatever. And at the age of 24 in 1835, he dies. Now, according to the official shogunate and historical records, Lord Nargutsugu died, contracted an illness, and died. And that's it. And there's no detail of the illness, nothing whatsoever. It's just said, oh, he got sick and he died. That's it. So there's a lot of speculation that he didn't die of an illness, that probably somebody, an enemy that he had made, probably had him killed. So that was kind of the basis of 13 Assassins, is that, he didn't really die of an illness on his way to Edo. He got massacred. Really interesting to listen to Japanese actually talk about how bad it is to be a samurai. Think about that. Talking about, I'm a samurai, this freaking sucks, I hate it. To the point where one of the characters towards the end of the movie kind of goes, you know what, I'm kind of tired of being a samurai. I think I want to be a bandit instead. At least I'll make money. So this movie is very interesting. Go watch it. Okay, so that's my review. Thank you for watching. As always, if you like this video, please hit the like button. If you want to subscribe because you like what I do, and I hope you do subscribe, because that would be awesome. If we get to 250 people, then we will get digital sushi, and who doesn't want digital sushi? Again, as always, thanks for watching. COVID-19 is a thing out there, and so I want you guys to wear the mask, practice social distancing, because I want to be able to meet you guys in the future, because I think that would be really, really cool. And also go out and vote. Otherwise, love you guys. Thanks once again for watching, because it's important that you watch, to me, that you watch. And have a great week, and see you next time.